Good morning, everyone. If everybody can please take a seat and we can get started. Wonderful. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. My name is Antonis Rokas. I'm a professor here at Vanderbilt University. I've been a professor for 18 years, so as you can tell. And I'm also the director of the Evolutionary Studies Initiative, and we've had the great pleasure to partner with the National Center for Science Education to bring you the Scopes monkey trial Centennial Symposium. So I want to say a few words about who we are so that we have a better sense of why we're doing this, and then pass it on to Glenn, the deputy director of the National Center, who'll speak a little bit more about the symposium, and then we'll get going with the first session. And so the Evolutionary Studies Initiative was founded in 2019, and its goal is to organize several different events, including symposia and conferences. In fact, we just finished wrapping up a major international conference on evolutionary medicine that happened on this site 2 days ago. Thank you. But of course, we're also evolutionary biologists in Tennessee. And from the founding of the Evolutionary Studies Initiative and from all the conversations we've had with colleagues in the administration, we've been very well aware of the special place that Tennessee has in the debate about evolution. And as you know, right, the Scopes trial started or set the terms for the discussion for several different national conversations that continue to this day: the relationship between science and religion, roles of experts in a democracy, control of curriculum in public schools. And I think you realize and you know that these debates continue to this day. It's also the place where Scopes first appeared in a Tennessee classroom 45 years after the Scopes trial, a few months before his death. And so when we were setting up the Evolutionary Studies Initiative, we were very cognizant of that history and the importance of universities in educating our community, in reaching out to colleagues, reaching out to our networks to bring visibility to these conversations, because frankly, we shouldn't be having them in the 21st century, but here we go. And so you probably have seen our logo. It's an evolutionary tree, and it actually was inspired from the tree found in the book that John Scopes used, Hunter's Civic Biology textbook. And so if that rings a bell, for those of you, the historians of the Scopes trial, that's the reason. And so in addition to the symposium we've been organizing this past semester, we've been in partnership with Dialogue Vanderbilt to organize a series of events. So our Darwin Day speaker was none other than Richard Dawkins. We had Judge Jones come to be our Scopes lecturer. We had John Delancey come give us a play about the Dover Panda trial, of which you'll hear about. A whole series of conversations that really engaged our undergraduate population and the local community. And it all culminates with a symposium you're all attending, which is meant to engage the broader community. So welcome to the symposium. In the little time, because we packed the schedule that you have, if you want to do something around Nashville, there is a Centennial Park, so just across Vanderbilt. And so the conference space is here, so just across the street is Centennial Park, and there is a full-blown replica of the Parthenon. As a Greek, I'm obliged to say it's not like the original. I mean, for one, it's made of limestone. Who builds a Parthenon with limestone? It needs to be marble. But anyway, but it's a wonderful exhibit, and it's worth visiting either around or inside. And then our campus is a nationally registered arboretum. It's been raining a lot. The magnolias are in bloom, so it's also wonderful to walk around the campus. If you walk around the campus and you find yourself in Vanderbilt Central Library, there is a history of evolution exhibit where you can cool off from the heat, but also see exhibits like the gavel that was used when the Scopes monkey law was repealed back in 1967. And so if people are interested, we can organize a little tour where we walk people tomorrow afternoon around lunch or something like that. For those of you that are not into the quiet, there are, of course, the honky-tonks. Go at your own risk. It's a Saturday night, and Nashville honky tonks is the #1 place for bachelor and bachelorette parties in the United States. So you've been warned. So don't blame me. All right. I don't think I need to elaborate on the code of conduct. Be decent people and engage in conversation, but be willing to listen. If you have any concerns about the behavior of anybody, please reach out to me. And then I think I'll say just welcome to Nashville. I hope you enjoy the symposium. And I'll invite Glenn Branch, the Deputy Director of the National Center for Science Education, to give a few remarks. And then we're off to the races. Glenn.
In 1925, a young teacher was on trial in the town of Dayton, Tennessee, about 150 miles east-southeast of here as the crow flies. John Scopes was accused of violating the Butler Act, a recently enacted state law that forbade educators in Tennessee's public schools to teach any theory that denies the story of the divine creation of man as taught in the Bible, and to teach instead that man has descended from a lower order of animals. 100 years later, the Scopes trial is again fresh in the American mind, especially in this room. So welcome to the Scopes Monkey Trial Centennial Symposium. On behalf of the National Center for Science Education, which is co-sponsoring the event this weekend, along with Vanderbilt University's Evolutionary Studies Initiative, I'd like to thank you all for coming. You're in for a treat, or actually a series of treats. Talks over the next 2 days from leading experts on evolution, evolution education, and controversies over evolution education. Just to review the details of the program with you, note that on each day there will be 3 sessions, each with between 3 and 5 half-hour presentations, interspersed humanely with coffee and lunch breaks. We'll have a very brief 5-minute Q&A after each presentation. In addition to that, we'll have a more extended discussion period at the end of each day. We encourage you to write down your questions as they occur to you and to submit them in the provided box. We do have the box, right?
Yeah, on either end.
On either end of this room, thank you. And then a selection of those questions will be addressed during the day's discussion period. Today, we're going to start with a session on the Scopes trial itself. Ed Larson will introduce us to the trial, while Randy Moore will explain the figure who was at the center of the storm, as he entitled his memoir, John Scopes himself. And Adam Lotz will explain fundamentalism in the Scopes era. Then we'll move on to modern challenges to evolution education, with Barbara Forrest discussing the intelligent design movement, Ken Miller describing the Kitzmiller versus Dover trial from 2005, and Amanda L. Townley explaining what's happened in the following years. After lunch today, we'll take a look at the evolutionary sciences a century after the Scopes trial. Addressing central concepts in evolution, Sean Carroll will talk about chance, and Jonathan Losos will talk about natural selection and design. Then addressing specific aspects of evolution, Marlene Zook will discuss the evolution of behavior, Stephen Brusetta will discuss the fossil record, and Brianna Pobener will discuss human evolution. Tomorrow we're going to start with a session on the practical applications of evolution with talks from Owen Jones, Paul Turner, and Sofian Kamoun. And then we'll turn to issues in teaching evolution. Gail Sinatra will explain the phenomenon of science denial. Connie Moreau will talk about teaching evolution through museum exhibits. And Wesley Roberts, a veteran high school biology teacher, will describe what it's like teaching evolution in Tennessee. After lunch tomorrow, we'll turn to the relationship between evolution and religion. Jamie Jensen will lead off with a discussion of reconciling evolution and faith, after which Katie Hinman will describe the AAAS's Dialogue on Science, Ethics, and Religion, or DOSER. And Liz Barnes will discuss her unexpected path to harmonizing science and religion. And Lee Meadows will get the final word with his description of inclusive approaches to teaching evolution. Why is the Scopes trial of enduring interest? Put your hands down, it was a rhetorical question. There's no single answer, obviously. You might find the details of the trial to be endlessly fascinating. You might be intrigued by the continuities and changes in the evolutionary sciences between 1925 and 2025. You might regard the trial as highlighting broader themes that continue to resonate today, as Antonis noted, such as the importance of church-state separation in a secular republic, the complex relationships between science and religion, and the potentiality for conflict between democracy and expertise. And you might consider the Scopes trial as a vital reminder of the importance of protecting evolution education against its foes. But whatever the nature of your interest in the Scopes trial, I promise that you'll find the next 2 days to be enjoyable, illuminating, and worthwhile.